How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. It's Friday morning, which means we get to look back on the games over the course of the week. Premier League action, Champions League action, and Spurs losing again.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So, of course, it's Friday morning, which means there's been lots of football this week as we reach the business end of the season. We're going to go right back to last weekend where we had Premier League action, and we're going to briefly go through the results and what happened, and I'm sure most of you know of it by now. West Ham against Liverpool 2-2, and I think this finally cements without any doubt that Liverpool are well and truly out of the title race. They've absolutely capitulated. And that's over and done with as far as I'm concerned. Fulham against Crystal Palace, 1-1 draw. Manchester United against Burnley, 1-1 draw. Manchester United had Onana to thank, for getting a point out of that game because Burnley had some really good chances. Newcastle 5-1 winners against Sheffield United, and that has confirmed Sheffield United relegated from the Premier League. Wolves 2-1 winners against Luton. That's not a great result for Luton. Everton 1-0 winners against Brentford, and that confirms that Everton will not be in a relegation fight this season, and that's fantastic for them. Given the points deduction and everything else, they've done so well. Aston Villa 2-2 against Chelsea. Aston Villa 2-0 ahead. Chelsea, come racing back into this game in the second half. I actually thought they won it at the end. But the goal was ruled out by VAR because of a foul. And Aston Villa 2 points dropped in the race for the Champions League spot. Moving into Sunday, 3-0 win for Bournemouth against Brighton. And Brighton have they've really collapsed of late. And there's a lot of questions asked. Arsenal 3-2 winners at Spurs. Raced into a 3-0 lead at half time. And then David Raya made a horrendous mistake. And that kind of, rejuvenated Spurs. But there was only one winner at the end of the day, and that is Arsenal. And that victory actually confirms Champions League football next season. Nottingham Forest against Man City, 2-0 win for Man City. But that doesn't really tell the tale of the game because Nottingham Forest should have got something out of this. Chris Wood in particular missed 2 sitters. Absolutely ridiculous finishes. But Man City, they go and get those 3 points that they need. Going into Champions League games, semi-finals, of course. Bayern Munich against Real Madrid on Tuesday. 2-2 draw. Very entertaining game. Real Madrid took the lead. Vinicius opened the scoring. Bayern Munich started the second half within the space of a couple of minutes and turned the game on its head. But Real Madrid were able to, get the equaliser from the penalty spot, and they'll feel like they're favourites going into the second leg next week. The next Champions League game, Borussia Dortmund against PSG, and this was a 1-0 win for Borussia Dortmund. Not a great result for PSG. They had some good chances in the second half, hit the post a couple of times. But then on the, same token, Borussia Dortmund had some big chances to go and get a second goal, but it wasn't to be. It's going to be a very different match in Paris, that's for sure. But Borussia Dortmund, they'll be happy with that one. Moving into games last night in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0. Tottenham were absolutely toothless. And you've got to look at their top 4 chances now and say it's going to be very, very difficult. 7 points off the top 4. They've got a game in hand. That game in hand is Manchester City. You can look at this one or two ways. As an Arsenal fan, you can sit there and laugh because it's Spurs. But then on the flip side, with them probably not having anything to play for, they're not going to do anything against Man City. And do you know what? When I was watching them last night, against what was a depleted, Chelsea side with injuries and whatnot, I looked and I thought, you know what? I got more confidence in Wolves, Fulham and West Ham taking something from, Man City in their remaining games than I have Spurs. I don't have any confidence. And it's not to do with what we've heard all week with, they're going to deliberately lose and everything, or that's what the fans want. I don't think players will genuinely go out there and do that. But what the fans want, listen, it's a nothing game. The Premier League messed up when they put this game where they did. When they had a couple of fixtures to navigate for Man City, they went and put the game away against Brighton a couple of weeks ago, and then the Spurs won in a couple of weeks' time. And what they should have done was put the Spurs-Man City game where the Brighton one was, and then the Brighton game, towards the end, the week before the season ends. Messed up completely. Or did they mess up? Or did they do it on purpose? Conspiracy theories. Europa Conference League last night. Semi-finals. Big game for Aston Villa. And they lost at home 4-2 to Olympiacos. And that was a poor result from them. And I'll tell you something. And I do look back on this and I think to myself, I look at Aston Villa and the way that they defended at the Emirates against Arsenal. And then I look at all the games around that and the way that they just laid down for Man City. The 3 goals they conceded against Bournemouth. I look at the game against Chelsea and, even the quarterfinal games against Lille. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, where did that defensive performance against Arsenal come from when that's the crap that I see in all the other games? What on earth is that about? But Olympiacos went into a 2-0 lead. Aston Villa were able to bring it back to 2-2. And then they go and concede another 2 goals. And even towards the end, last 5 minutes, Villa miss a penalty. That could be a big miss because, going over to Olympiacos 4-3, it's in the balance. But I can't see them turning that one round, to be honest with you. I really can't. And that's a poor result. But they're in the driving seat when it comes to the Champions League. So I suppose that might be, a silver lining, shall we say. When you're looking at the games this weekend as well, what have we actually got? Tonight even, big game, Luton against Everton. Luton need the 3 points. It's at Kenilworth Road. Everton are safe now. So will they, relax a little bit? Big win needed for Luton. Of course, going into Saturday's game, Arsenal against Bournemouth, first game of the weekend. Need to just get 3 points. Need to keep doing our job and then see what happens. Brentford against Fulham, Burnley against Newcastle. Big game for Burnley, that, because they're right in the mix and might get out of the trouble that they're in. Sheffield United against Nottingham Forest. Big game as well for Nottingham Forest. And then Man City against Wolves. Can Wolves do anything? I don't know. Brighton against Aston Villa on the Sunday. Chelsea against West Ham on the Sunday. And Liverpool against Spurs. And then the Monday night game is Crystal Palace against Manchester United. So that's pretty much it. That's a roundup for the week, the games and everything else. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the games. Spurs fans, let me know what you think about Postecoglou. Seeing a lot of talk online from fans saying they've had enough and they want him out and that he's not actually a great manager. Won't listen to anybody else, won't get a set piece coach, do anything different in terms of tactics. It's just my way or the highway, and teams are sussed out Spurs and they're very, very easy to play against. Let me know what you think. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.